Rahubot Collective. We're going to be talking a little bit more about ego. As you should already know, there cannot be a single anything. So, though your ego may want to believe that it is the only operator, which we talked about in the past video, it's not. It has the divine, it has the heart space, the intuitive consciousness to listen to, right? So, when we're dealing with ego, there are two parts of ego, right? Now, there is the part of the ego that focuses on the external reality. And then there is part of the ego that can hear, understand, and decipher what your intuition has, right? When you are in an argument with yourself, there are two parts of you that are arguing back and forth, right? You wouldn't be arguing with yourself if you only had one part. This is why even when you listen to your intuition, you can still have that debate, right? That's your free will at hand being controlled by the two parts that control it. And we'll talk about the intuitive consciousness in that way as well. But the only reason why you're even able to follow your intuition is because you have part of your ego, one twin of your ego, that is able to understand, decipher, translate it, and follow through with it, right? The first ego we're going to talk about is the intuitive consciousness understanding one. That one is connected not in the heart, but to the heart. It can't go in the heart because it's still part of the rational mind itself, but it can understand what's being brought to it. This is why whenever you follow your intuition, I'm going to use this card because every time I talk about ego and this is brought up the Five of Wands. I'm obsessed with it. As you can tell, it's everywhere, right? So the Five of Wands in tarot, right? That's you in your intuitive consciousness listening to what you need to do, and that's your intuitive ego. I couldn't really call it your intuitive ego, but the part of your ego that is able to understand the intuitive part of yourself telling you to keep going. That's why when you're doing something on your own, you get that boost of energy of, oh, I don't care what anyone thinks, I'm doing it this way because I am being told to do it this way. That's that part of the ego that can listen to the intuition. That's part of that energy. That's part of that power that's given to you there. All right. The only reason, again, why you can hear and follow your intuition is because you have part of that ego, part of that rational self that is so rationalized to the point of following your intuition, right? It breaks down why you should follow your intuition. Well, if I follow my intuition, I won't have to worry about it anymore. I'll be on the right track. I'll be doing something that lines me up better for the future, XYZ, all those benefits from doing that, right? That's where that ego comes in. Because again, remember, the divine, the heart space, the intuitive self is not going to spend time arguing with anyone or anything because it's already with God. It doesn't need to argue. It doesn't need to make a standpoint on anything. It just knows already. It knows what it has to do. So it's just going to go, yeah, let's do this, right? An intuitive part, the part of your ego that can listen to that heart space, that can listen to the intuition, that can receive and understand and digest that message, is going to be the part of you that goes, no, we need to do this. Let's go ahead and do this. It's that part of you that keeps bugging you, like, oh, you should do this. Oh, you should do that. Oh, you should do this now. You should do this now. That's part of that intuitive consciousness understanding, overstanding, I should say, excuse me, for the ego, right? And then there's the other half of your ego, which is very rationalized and focusing on the external. Well, I can't follow my intuition because XYZ, these things are happening outside. I'm not getting the XYZ reasons for it. I'm not getting the benefit of my of what I should be doing. I'm not receiving anything that I could be doing. I'm not getting nothing, so I'm not going to do nothing, basically, right? That's that part of the ego. That part of the ego can't hear, doesn't give a damn about the intuitive self. Until it figures out what the hell it is, it's not going to worry about it. Oh, you're not in control. You're not going to tell me no, that I don't care about you. It's how it sees the intuitive part, how it sees the heart space, how it sees the divine. That's why your ego needs that twin that can understand that, the intuitive part, the heart consciousness. So it can go, yo, you're fucking up. We should do this instead, right? That bickering back and forth that you have, I should do this, but I can't because XYZ. Yeah, but if I do that, then I'm going to get this. Are you sure about that? Yeah, I'm positive. How do you know? Because you heard it from the heart space. And how does this side know that it quote unquote won't? won't is because it's looking at the physical for its proof, not the internal. There's a part of your ego that can look internally, and the other half of your ego looks externally, right? And they work together. They're in a symbiotic relationship. This is why you end up beating yourself up over things. Why are you beating yourself up? Oh, I knew I shouldn't have done that. Well, know how you knew? It wasn't just because you had that little thought in your head. It's because both sides of your ego were talking to each other. And it was like, you shouldn't do that. It's going to embarrass the fuck out of you. Or, no, I need to because I'm going to wear this emotional mask. I'm going to wear this new cloak to then push me to do something that I know I shouldn't do, but I feel like it's needed because my feelings were hurt. Well, my thoughts were hurt. My ego was hurt. XYZ, not your feelings, but your ego, right? Your feelings can be hurt. You can have hurt thoughts about your feelings, but you can't have your feelings be hurt. You can have your thoughts be hurt. You can have your ego be hurt, right? Anyway, that's what we're understanding when we're working with ego. Now, this is going to be new to a lot of people. Maybe not everyone, but it's going to be new to people who have to hear it this way because they're not familiar with it. But if you are meditating on these things, if you are aware, if you can really see and understand that there can't just be a single thing of anything, then it should have made a little bit of sense. It should have clicked in somewhere. Like, you know, how is it just the ego and the subconsciousness? No, they're together. They're whole. It's like your brain. You have a right side of a brain and a left side of the brain, right? They're not whole brains. They're halves of each part of the brain. Look at a dolphin's brain, how it has two whole brains, it has two right sides, two lefts. That's two whole brains that it has, right? We only have one half of each brain. That's what we're working with, right? And that half of the brain isn't just one part. It's the frontal lobe and the back lobe that are connected. And it allows for the center. This is going to get a little complicated to talk about, but it allows for the center or the little wire in between the two, the connector, so that this side of the brain can connect with this side of the brain. And even if something back here is trying to talk to something up here, it can do that because they can meet in the middle, right? It's not that it's half and half. It's not that it's like one part and another part. They're all working together to get to the whole, to get to the part, the pyramid, the crown, the triangle, right? Anyway, when you're working with the ego in that sense, it's important to understand the battle that you go through. You need to focus on the thoughts. Where are they coming from? Where are they expressing to you? And what are the feelings that are being created with those thoughts, not from the idea in general, right? Now, let's say you're arguing with yourself. I'm going to use the story example because we're going to need to simplify this down for some people, okay? So we're going to the store. Why do you want to go to the store? Because I want that sandwich, right? And your intuition was like, you need to go make this sandwich. If you do, you'll feel better. You just had a bad day. You just want to make that sandwich, right? And then the other part, your rational brain is, oh, then I have to get up. I have to go to the store. I just don't feel like going to the store because I don't feel good. X, Y, Z, making excuses, wham, attitude, right? So when you're dealing with that, the intuitive part of the overstanding that your consciousness can understand, that conscious can overstand, is trying to explain to you, if you do this, you'll just feel better. It will relieve pressure off of you that you're unable to overstand, see, or grasp due to it being an internal thing. And the external is going to give you every reason for why you shouldn't. Oh no, you actually feel bad. Not, that sandwich won't make you feel good. What will make you feel good is if that problem went away. How is that problem going to go away then? If it doesn't know the plan to get rid of that problem of not having that sandwich, how the hell is it going to solve it? Oh, well, I can't go to the grocery store to make that sandwich because the prices are too high, and that's going to make me upset. Who said anything about the prices at that point? Why is that part of the ego creating those things? Because it's looking on the external. It's looking at all the things that could happen. Not being intuitive, how does it know that those prices are going to be high? It's not. It's trying to create something so it can prove to you why you need it in control, rather than working with its twin so that its twin can show it what really needs to happen, right? What if you go to the store and all the stuff you need is on sale? You wouldn't know that. And then your brain's like, oh, just look it up instead of going to the store. Well, what if you just need to go to the store regardless? What if those ingredients you're not just getting for that one sandwich, that one day, you're needing to stock up anyway, right? It's one of those things where you have to go back to the reason of why you're needing to go there. Was the idea of the sandwich being brought up to you because you actually needed to go to the store, and the intuitive part of yourself is trying to tell you like, yo, we need to go to the store and get these things. Let me use the ego part of you to say, hey, you go to the store, you can get the stuff for that sandwich. You already need to go to the store anyway, and you're already wanting that sandwich, you might as well. That's what that part of the ego is going to do. It's going to show you the benefits of actually doing it, while the external side of the ego is going to show you all the things that could go wrong, all the things why you shouldn't do it, right? It's going to give you all the excuses. Now, talking with that, you now have to look at the intuitive self, the internal self that has twins as well. You have the intuitive side that it only talks with the divine. Its sole purpose is to be with God. It cannot be by itself. It is with the divine. It is with God. It is getting direct orders from God, and it is saying, we need to do these. We need to do these now. And then there's the part of your intuitive consciousness that can overstand that and as well translate that message on an external way. Now, this is why when you get an intuitive nudge to do something and you're about to go do it, you go, why should I even do this? Like, what's the point of it? That questioning part of it. Because what you're doing on the physical doesn't make sense, but you're still following through with the intuition. That's both of those parts talking to each other. That's both of those working. So let's say you're told a home, like your ancestors or guides, whoever, come to you and tell you, hey, you need to do these things, do this real quick, and we'll take it from here. And you hear it with your intuition, you're listening to it, you've already agreed with it. Your ego's like, yeah, we'll go ahead and do this, we might as well do it, just we'll go ahead and do it. But as you're doing that thing, you're starting to question yourself on if you really should even do it or not. You're already in the actions of that intuitive action. You're already in that intuitive space. This is going to get complicated to talk about, but I'm going to do my best to do it. We might have to make another video talking just about the intuitive part of this, because it's going to be complicated, and I'm probably going to need to make a lot of notes and meditations on this as well. Regardless, I'm going to do my best. When you're taking those steps and you second guess that intuitive step, so let's say you're told to make the sandwich, right? But for some odd reason, you put the lettuce on before the cheese, right? But you're consciously aware of it, and you're like, why did I do that? Let me switch it back. And as you're switching it, you pause in that reflective moment, and you're like, should I keep it this way or should I not? And part of that intuition you hear is like, yeah, keep it the same way. And the other part, the other voice you hear, that's focused on the external, that's focusing on part of the ego that's trying to give you that gratification, is going to be translating to that part of the ego, wait, don't you not like it that way though? Don't you remember that you don't like it this way? You want it the other way? Like, doesn't that just bother you for some reason? Like, whatever reason that would bother someone. Where, people are going to be like that. It's just how it is, no shame in it. But in a scenario like that, I feel like that's very like explainable. It's the same thing of like putting milk in before the cereal, or however, right? And then people are like, no, you put the cereal in first and then the milk. And then one day you catch yourself slipping up. Do you pour the milk all the way out in the sink because you fucked up? Or do you what do? Do you pour the cereal into another bowl or something, or throw it out? What do you do at that point? Right? That's that part of your intuition listening to what it's giving the instruction from the divine, subconsciously allowing you to move, or the part of your intuition that's connecting with the ego that's like, hey, what the fuck's going on with that? Why did you do it this way? You know what I mean? And it's not questioning you to get you to change it. It's questioning you to pay attention, because there's a reason why you made that step. And it's trying to draw you back to the full intuitive part of yourself, rather than unconsciously or subconsciously doing actions. There was a conscious reasoning, I should say, behind why you did that action, but you're not fully aware of it. So that part of the intuition is going to get the ego, go, hey, look at that. And then when that part of the ego hears it, it's going to tell its twin. And that twin is going to either decide to make you, pause, reflect on it, make you switch it around, or keep it the same, however, whatever happens, even give up on it if it irritates you, whatever, right? That's what's going on. And it's a 4-system communication step system, with the fifth process, the quintessential, being the new idea, the new foundation that's going to be laying on, right? You've already done the things on the physical. Now you're going to be faced with a new idea. Is this even worth it? Is it worth making the sandwich anymore because I just got upset? Is that idea of me switching up how I made a sandwich going to make me mad? All these things, right? That's the best way I can talk and describe the four parts of self in this way, where you have the ego and its twin, which is also the ego but can communicate with part of the divine heart space, and then the intuitive part of self that can communicate with its twin, that can help the ego overstand and get some form of gratification from why those steps needed to be taken, or why some of those steps needed to work out. Now, this isn't going to be for everyone. Not everyone's going to actually care about these things, but this is how the human works. This is how we operate on the intuitive and egoic levels. It's not just your ego hearing it, it comes from the intuitive self speaking to the ego. But it's not the intuitive self that's completely connected to the divine. It's part of the intuitive self that can see the external, can see through the ego's lens, but still gives gratitude and benefit to the intuitive self to allow processes to move forward, to move on. um I don't know what other example I could give for that. I mean, there's a lot of examples, obviously, but it's really trying to find one that I feel like I got it right, though. I'm pretty sure if you don't understand it, then it's just not for you. You just have it, your molecular system was just changed by hearing the information. You do with it what you want. If you needed to know something like this, congratulations, you went to the right person in the right place. But regardless, that's how we work. That's what's going on with our bodies. That's what's going on with our decision making. That's what's going on in the reality of things. And you can, again, break that down with tarot by the intuitive part completely being the wand, the one that's connected solely with the divine, being the wand, where it gives you that inspiration to do something. It is then transmuted from that part to its twin. And I'll describe it this way. It goes the feminine to the masculine, to the feminine to the masculine, right? So it's going from the feminine full intuitive to the masculine intuitive, that's bringing and delivering those orders from the heart space, from the divine to the ego, and then that part hears it, which is the feminine, because it receives that data, and then the masculine part of the ego is what you're going to actually do on the physical, right? So wands, the cups, the swords to the pinnacles, it's the same thing. This is all told in tarot, but I mean, who knows, who can like decipher it? No one, because no one takes the time to actually study the self, or do meditations with the self, or they want to do external meditations. You all want to listen to meditation music, and searching outside for sources to meditate, rather than having a question and meditating on it until you can finally decipher and see all lenses, all sides, be the kaleidoscope, see with all angles and all light forms and everything with it. But regardless, this is just a little bit more on the ego. If anything more pops up, I'm definitely going to talk about it, but for now, this is it. Thank you all for all the support. Please be sure to share this video around to educate some people so they can understand what's going on. Doesn't matter, again, if you have a following or not, just sharing it, getting it within the algorithm is all we need to do, because without those types of supports, we can't really get a message out to anyone. And we're not like a closed community. Like, fuck that. We're here to help people completely, and we need to show them the right way of life, the right way that our ancestors knew. This is what the ancients knew. This is why their lives went so smoothly, and why it went so catawonky, because they covered up this information, they hid it from us, and now we're so separate that we don't even realize that we're not only just a twin individual, but we have both of our twins also fucking have their own like cooperative centers where they're both split up into twins. You know what I mean? But regardless, I love you all so much. Thank you all for the support. Like, comment, share, subscribes, and shares. I greatly appreciate it. If you're wanting to donate to me or to the business, however, to support me or the business with the tarot card reading business, or the tarot classes, and all the other things that I'm doing, feel free to do that. The links are in the description. The Cash Out, the PayPal, the Venmo are all in the description. Regardless of all that, though, I do appreciate everything you all do. I love you to the moon and back tenfold and forever, and I will see you later.